All right, hello from Michigan. Real Housewives of Atlanta, season 16, episode 17. This is the finale, game over. We see Portia at the start of the show. Of course, she all sad and stuff with her family and things like that, talking with Phaedra. I guess Phaedra supposed to be helping her out with the fume for her cousin Londi. So, she got to deal with that. We roll over to Angela. She is in a therapy session. And in this session, we, hear about those houses. She is in debt, which I think we kind of already knew from previous blogs or something like that. Maybe have watch what happens live. I can't remember what. Either way, we already knew of the 5 that she did not sell. What, maybe none of them. But yeah, she was pretty much in debt with them things. Stressful situation. Charles feeding her money had to tell her, nah, this is all you now, so she got to deal with the consequences of that. But we roll into this issue with her trusting Charles and their relationship and how, things work like that. Basically, obviously when they first got together, trust wasn't there. You have to learn to build those things. So she's built that over the years. But this man coming in here trying to break that, excuse me, it's a bit shattering to that trust that she built, because now she has to ask him, like, are you cheating on me? And of course he'd say, like, nah girl, I ain't doing none of that. So what can she do but believe him? So it is what it is. She told the therapist that she is going to get to the bottom of the situation, and she's going to address the ladies or whoever was the culprit. Shamia is going to do a singing showcase, okay? So I was thinking it was going to be uh I sit on the stool with my one light over me, and I'm delivering a little, little soon, little thing, little sermon around the way. No, this was like a whole show, okay? She put on like a whole concert, okay? Costume changes, dancing, the whole 9. So all the ladies are there. Pretty excited for her, of course, showing the support. Drew's being shady, obviously. She calls herself the resident singer of the Housewives. I'm not sure if that title goes to you. Okay, it might go to Candace Dillard, but are we counting? Are we counting? Anywho, but I would say Candace came first, so it's Candace. Either way, or technically, we gonna call Candy the resident singer, okay? Because she worldwide. Anywho, Brittany and Kelly still ain't talked. Yeah, I guess that's it. So after the showcase, they kind of go to the back to kind of, congregate and talk like they always do. And Angela took this moment to invite all the ladies to a gala that her and Charles are throwing. The Charles Oakley Foundation is something that they started back in 2017, something to help give back to the community, feed the people, this and this and that. So she's letting the ladies know, like, we need to raise this money and things like that. So, you support me, do y'all social media things, invite your peoples, whoop whoop whoop. And I guess the social media IG part of, get your followers and this like that to, come out and all these things, it kind of triggered something in Kelly, I guess, and Brittany. And they started to go into, because donations, right? Well, I'm good over here. I know I like to donate. I don't just give away, one little rinky-dink box from the dollar store. And Brittany like, well, girl, what do you mean? This and that, trying to call me out. And you the one that got to buy all your followers on Instagram and this and that. What? Buy my followers? Girl. Da, 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 da. So Shamia just so happened to pop in to break this whole little shenanigan up, because they was about to go for a minute, but Shamia broke it up, and she just lets them know, because obviously Portia's not here, and usually everybody's like, where Portia, where Portia, where Portia? But they kind of edit those parts out, thank God, to where Shamia just came out to say, oh, well, she's still dealing with, the loss of the family thing, so she's doing family stuff. So she sends her love, and we will see her at another time. So before everybody leaves, well, I guess people were on the way out because the event is over. Cynthia pulls Shamia to the side just to let her know, like, look, me and Portia went over to Brittany's house and she was telling us some stuff, okay, like that you was talking mess, and she showed us that, and she said she had text messages and receipts to prove it. So, obviously Shami is like, well, dang, that's kind of messed up. Like, I didn't say, look, I said I never shared any personal things like that with her, whatever. I mean, listen, we don't know what you did. Brittany says one thing, you deny. So the truth is somewhere in the middle. So, I guess Cynthia is trying to be the let me warn you type of thing, or, with her thing. Well, I don't want nobody talking about me behind my back. So I just had to let them know that it was said. You know how Cynthia be talking, right? But so Shamia is thinking like, well, I don't know why she would do all this. She must be jealous, okay? Like, it's jealousy because I'm talking to Kelly more. I'm taking her friend away from her. So, and did her and Brittany come together at this moment? I'm like, yeah, because they kind of had a small back and forth to where Shamia was telling her, yeah, well, thanks for wearing clothes tonight. You look nice, because she did have on like a sundress this time, compared to how she normally dresses. More tight, revealing leather, things like that. And Brittany comes back at her with, well, did you check on your daughter? Something like that. And so Shabia called her a lady of the night. And of course, Brittany comes back with her, well, let's bring up the cheating in your marriage. Okay. So Shamia nips that one in the butt in the confessional. Like, listen, cheating rumors, that stuff started way back when me and Gerald was first together. And yeah, it ain't even true. Whatever. Old news. Girl, go suck something. So basically, yeah, Shamia and Brittany, or not Shamia and Brittany, yeah, Shamia and Brittany, not gonna be on the same page. And this little tip where Brittany said, about your daughter, go check on your daughter type, comment, it does come back to nip her in the butt later. Okay, so this part they kind of skipped around a little bit on the show. They gonna show Drew getting a phone call from Ralph from the basement talking about, can I come upstairs? She like, okay, sure. We flip over. We got Brittany on a private jet with her husband. I guess they planning a vacation or something. Okay. Then we flip over to Kelly, and she making breakfast with the kids. Okay. Kelly out here cooking. Kids supposed to be helping her, but not really, especially the teenager. Just doing the teenager thing that they always do. A bunch of nothing. So of course you little, kid stress. It's normal if you have them, right? So she's like, I ain't no wino, but I am a wine mom. Okay, I might need to take a little, every night or some nights, just to chill out once they go to bed. But it is what it is. I'm sure a lot of people do it. A lot of them white folks. Okay, that's where that stuff started from anyway. But anywho, she still ain't divorced. And she cannot open up no new restaurants until the divorce happens, because if she does, then that money will be tied into both of their assets, I guess, and it will create more mess in trying to get rid of that fool or trying to divorce him. Then we flip back to Drew because, Ralph is upstairs playing his little piano and things like that. And we get this old macrame scene between them talking about, I guess, giving us some type of fake resolve or closure between them in this. But girl, they ain't talking about nothing but this divorce for the most part. How they go co-parent, they got to move into a different relationship. And hopefully all they, just move forward and be the best that they can be for them kids, right? Obviously Ralph can't do everything by himself. See, this is Ralph trying to give himself some pity because, oh my God, I work so much and I can't be there to pick them up from school all the time, and I can't do this and that. I mean, duh, we kind of knew that already, buddy. but you're the one that's fighting for stuff that you know won't be realistic. But either way, they just gonna try to move forward and see, hopefully that they can have a, you know, meet common ground with this co-parenting stuff. We go see Phaedra. She goes on a date with Shaq. We flip over to Brittany's house. You know, she moved her mom in, so they getting used to that, you know, enjoying her and all this stuff. Then they have like it looked like they were preparing for something. It was going to be a big old family dinner, or her side and his side came over, and they just made a little announcement that, you know, they are married, but they never had a ceremony. So they're actually going to have the ceremony, and then after that, they're going to have a baby. Okay. And let's not make announcements that we're going to do something. Let's make an announcement that, hey, the ceremony is on such and such date at such and such time. Not it's just gonna happen, because technically it probably, because, you know, what if it don't? You know, things like that. Okay. The main part of the show, the most important part of the show, which this, I would say this, out of all 17 episodes, this was probably the best one. It had the most, maybe the most sensible drama, but not sensible, because it was foolishness when it comes to Marcus, but we're going to get there in just a moment. The gala starts. We learn a little bit that the Charles Oakley Foundation was starting in 2017, I believe. She says this fundraiser gala the goal is to raise $50,000. Okay, because I had to rewind that back. Like, did she say? Like, did she say 50,000? To me, it's like, you know, like, dang, that's a little low. But I understand it, right? Compared to what was it, Married to Medicine? I think they put it at 100 something, which out of medical doctors versus whoever Angela Oakley had invited, which I'm sure were some doctors in the room, the money was there to where they actually could have raised that stuff. They probably shouldn't have did it auction style as well, because them items, like, didn't nobody want that. But anyway, I'm sorry. I'm jumping into different between shows. Look, Charles Oakley Foundation. Okay, yes, they be feeding families and, you know, giving back to the community. Blah 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 blah. So, you know, all the ladies are arriving, this and that. But, you know, where's Angela at? Okay, Angela's still upstairs getting dressed. She was talking to Drew, because it's like they kind of setting something up. Like, okay, did you talk to him? Okay, yeah, I talked to him. All right. So you on the way? Okay, yeah, so you're going to meet us there. So it's like they invited mystery man Marcus to the venue. Okay, so they kind of coordinating something. So, but Drew was late again. She should have been on the phone asking her, bitch, are you literally in the car, or are you still sitting getting your hair did? Because you always late. I'm going to lock the door on your ass. That's what she should have said. I'm going to lock the door. Oh, but while she was on the phone with Drew, I'm sorry, we had a flashback, okay? Because Angela did actually meet with the mystery man. His name is Marcus. I'm going to just call him Marcus now. And he's the one that spilled all the tea, told her who has sent him, okay? So basically, she's inviting him to this party so that he can lay it all out in front of all the ladies. The ceremony starts, and yes, Drew shows up pretty much as the ceremony was starting, or had started. Like, you know, girl, you can't get there on time for nothing ever, and I really hate that for you. Honestly, it's very like tacky, right? You don't want to just be late for everything all the time, and then you walking in as stuff is going on. Like, girl, disturbing the peace. So while the ceremony was going on, you know, Cynthia's doing her little, okay, well, listen, Portia, I'm sorry, but I gotta let you know that, you know, I told Shmia that, you know, y'all, what Brittany has said, so I think she's kind of a little bit, you know, she's being a little weird, because, you know, I'm just sorry. And I'm like, girl, look, it ain't me. I didn't mean to do it. Okay, I'm just trying to say, if it was me, I just want them to let me know. Okay? And Brittany, of course, can hear on this conversation, so she kind of butts in just a little bit to, you know, add her 2 cents. Like, yeah, she's mad at me now because, you know, I blew up her spot and everything. So the ceremony is going on, and they're giving awards to people, for all their good works and things like that. And it was a surprise because Angela actually honored Portia. She was one of the honorees as well. And with sharing it with her cousin that passed, Londi, her grandfather, back, was working on the Underground Railroad. We already know she thought it was a real train, okay? Like, when you a kid, it's very understandable to think so, okay? But as you get older, you actually will know the truth. So it's just, it was just amazing that, girl, you made it all the way to adulthood and you didn't know that it wasn't a real train. Like, what was you? She must have failed every assignment. Oh, okay, I'm stop. Stop. And you know what? They actually raised $107,000 instead of that 50. So kudos, kudos, kudos. See, Phaedra, now that's how you look. Now that's how you do a fundraiser. Dr. Jackie, you had no business messing around with Phaedra because you knew it was gonna fail and did. So the event's over and everything, and the ladies go and sit together, and Angela was like, okay, let me go talk to them real quick, right? So she says, hey guys, as you know, well, some of we went to a cooking event, and there this man gave a cheers to my husband cheating on me, and it was just something that it was very shocking, and just why would something like that happen? Like, why would somebody want to target me and my husband and break up a happy home? So I did my research. And I'm just so surprised. And now she's looking at Kelly. I'm just so surprised that Kelly, it happened at your event. So I'm thinking, or my initial thought was, it could have been you. So Kelly, like, girl, it is not me. I don't know what you're talking about. I ain't sent for nobody. Ain't nobody sent for me. Okay? So nope, wrong road. So of course everybody's like, well, I don't think Kelly did it, this and that, because everybody's kind of shocked, and we all in the conversation now, because bitch, what? Like, you know what I'm saying? The like. So then she turns and she looks at Brittany and she says, well, Brittany, we had our little thing against each other, so you came to mind too. So I'm not sure, if you had any animosity towards me and you would try to, taking me down like this. So of course, Brittany like, girl, it ain't me. And I don't know why Kelly was over there nudging on Shamia. Like, yeah, it was her. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was a little bit confused about that part, but okay. I guess that was maybe, or look, they friends now like that, so whatever. So yeah, it's like, well, it wasn't me. Did Brittany do this? I don't know. Some of them thinking it could be possible, especially Shamia. But that's why the nudge, wink, wink, because Kelly don't like Brittany, and of course Shamia don't like Brittany, so they teaming up. All right, it makes sense now. It all makes sense. Okay, you team up once you have a common enemy. Okay, and they got a common enemy right now. Angela says, so, well, you know what? He is here, and he's going to let us know what happened and, who sent him. Okay. So Drew, she goes, she brings him in. He says, hey, my name is Marcus. Okay. And before he can even get into his spiel, Charles see him, because Angela already told she tell him everything. So he see him and he was mad as hell. Like, why is he up in here? You better get out. You don't need to be here. This and that. You disrespecting me. This and all this. Disrespectful. So Angela, run into flight mode with her husband. No, Charles, no. Stop, wait. Stop, leave him alone. I got this. Yes. Oh, Jesus, just let it be, Charles. I got this, okay? So Charles like, man, You better be glad. You better be glad. Man, my wife saving you right now. So Charles was just heated at this point. He like, man, I gotta go. So he over there about to take his mic off and things, and I guess possibly leave. I don't know. So I was like, look, you gonna leave your wife, but hey, it's she. They probably look. So we finally get him over there to talk to the ladies, and she's like, yeah, I want you to explain yourself, okay? So who sent you? He says, Phaedra is the godfather of ATL. She controls Atlanta. And everybody's like, what? She the Don Dada, the Teflon. Listen, Phaedra, we know she's a lot. She's many things, but the godfather of Atlanta? He proceeds to go on to say that, yes, basically they've been in communication. And she dropped off an envelope to him. Okay, an envelope with said information inside. So, and this was what, the day before or the Monday before the event actually happened. Okay, so it was basically pre-planned. Phaedra's sitting there denying. It wasn't me. It was the one-armed man. Like, I don't know, but she's saying, I don't know him. I really don't. So who, when did I talk to you? Do we have any mutual friends? Like, who is the delivery man? This and this and that, And he goes on to say, Junebug. Some guy named Junebug is another accomplice in this mess. I don't know. That's where, he lost me a long time ago when he said Godfather of Atlanta, because bitch, she ain't know nothing of nowhere, if you ask me. But I ain't nobody, so it is what it is. So now, once he gets all this information out about how, the connection happened, who gave him everything, this and this and that, her and Angela kind of go back and forth. Angela, I really love her calmness. Like, I don't know how do you get that? What is it? I'm pretty calm, I think, myself. But I think, like most people, you get hot, you get a little shaky, you get a little, stutter. But she be so calm with it. Like, is it the ring? Is it the marriage? You trying to come between me and mine? I trusted you, girl. I trusted you. And this is how you gonna play me like this? So, of course, Phaedra's like, I don't know what you're talking about. And in the confessional, they say, well, how did you figure out who Marcus was and all this other stuff? Angela said, well, Phaedra the one that told me. She the one that, I guess, was talking on the phone, and she gave him all the information to know his whole name, his job, where he lived at, everything. So, like, once she did her research and it came out to be you, girl, I'm gonna believe what he's saying. It might sound ridiculous, but in the end, you the one that set it up. Okay. So, they trying to do that tit for tat. Phaedra try to hit her with talk about your homes are being foreclosed and everything like this. And it's like, girl, that ain't okay. And everybody already know that. Say something else. You know what I'm saying? That don't hurt me. You the one that left one failed group to another. And we know what that means. But I'm like, listen, Angela, you was getting there together, because Phaedra couldn't do nothing much. But, and me, oh child, you know how she be. Yeah, Angela hit her with the, do you let your kids see their father? Oh yes, I do let them see their father. This and this and that. You don't even need to be all up in my business bringing kids in it, because we don't bring in kids. Like, you're supposed to leave the babies out of it. And in the midst of the conversation, because this is the finale, we start to get the last, what do you call them? The post notes for everybody. So we get Kelly's first. After 3 years of divorce, she got or after 3 years of going through the divorce. She's finally divorced in September 2024. So that would be sometime last year. And she gets to open up a new chicken and waffles coming to you in location near you. Okay. And obviously double checking her invite list, which means Brittany, you ain't on it. We flip back to the party, and somewhere along the line, Brittany and Portia had a little back and forth about something. About somebody said something. I couldn't remember exactly what it was. I don't even know if I wrote it down. But Shamia said, "Yeah, they bringing up something about bringing up the kids." Okay, that's what it was. So she said, "Who brings up the kids?" She said, "You do," and obviously Shamia had it to hear, so her attitude was pretty much gone at this moment, and she like, yeah, and I wanted to beat her ass because she brought up Shiloh. Remember earlier in the episode, like, did you go check on your daughter? You know, that kind of type of comment. Yeah, I wanted to beat her ass when she said that shit. She the one, and she said, well, is that a threat, Brittany? Shamia, oh no, I don't threaten people. That's what you do. You threaten people with guns. Cause see, and as soon as she said that, I knew it. Like they never forgave her for Kenya. Nobody ever did, and that's why they never seat you because you took away something that was supposed to bring this show together as we collide with our new characters and things. You destroyed that. So I think that resentment was still back there, and I think all the other ladies feel it as well. It's not just. I'm just glad Shamia is the one I just like. It just said it out loud, like you know what I'm saying. Yep, and here they're with the you whore and all this stuff. So they going back and forth. Brittany like, well, you know what? I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna leave. This is a bunch of low lives. Get me out of here. This is insane. We clip to her post note. She is opening up a new insurance agency and working on her new business, that go naked stuff. We get Drew posted notes. She released her album March 2025, which was just a couple months ago. I did not listen to it. Maybe I will at some point. And Ralph is still in the basement. Shamia post note. Shiloh is good, healthy, strong. She got a new surrogate, so baby boy will be on the way soon. And her new song was released in March 2025. Didn't really listen to it. I probably will at some point. But isn't that a coincidence that they wanted to do it in the same month? Who sold more? We kind of clip back to the party a bit, and Angela's, thank you, Phaedra. Like I said, very smooth, very calm, very relaxed with it. Thank you for your services. Thank you for introducing me to the group, okay? Have a good night. Peace. All right. Her little post note, she booked them busy, more jobs than ever, helping them boys do what they, with their dreams, obviously, as the mother should. Still talking to Shaq. Angela, she done sold 3 of the 5 homes. She ended up losing 2, which, like I said, we kind of already knew all this stuff. She was thinking of opening a new line of fans. Okay, girl, it makes sense. Fan lady, you need to open up a new line of hair glue. If you really want to do something, child, and it's her and Charles gonna do some vow renewals in the future, possibly. Here goes Cynthia. We're going back to the party. I didn't mean to start no mess, okay? I was just trying to air it all out and let you know what was said. I didn't know that people were going to get mad, so I just apologize. Anyway, Cynthia, girl, I don't even know why Cynthia was here. I guess a good friend of, but not I don't know. Cynthia's just not, her energy is a little low. Okay? Let's just say that. And I think it's too monotone for this. So for some things sometimes. It's just be like, girl, I don't even know. But I'm going to leave Cynthia alone. We love her, right? Because she really don't be doing nothing wrong. She really don't. But apologizing to Portia and all that stuff just feels bad about the whole situation. But Portia's like, oh, it's okay, girl. I mean, obviously, Shamia just feels more comfortable talking to Brittany and Kelly right now about some things. So it is what it is. Can't be too mad at it. Um, we get a 5 months later header going on across the screen, and we click back and it's to Portia. Okay, now this part, Portia was at home in her house, and I don't know why we showed Shamia in her home in her house as if we was about to talk about each other or some shit, or I'm not sure what the fuck happened with that scene like that. But either way, Portia house, because remember she couldn't film in it the whole time, but she got the film in there this one little time right at the end for 30 seconds. Okay, talking to her mom about this divorce with Simon, because basically that's how it's wrapping up. As we know, currently today, that shit is wrapped and done, sealed deal. Because look, she back in that house. She can only be in there for like 3 years. And then after that, she got to let it go, or do whatever, you know what I'm saying, like that. And then he do his little yin yang around the way, and then that's it. Like, okay. He got deported and all types of stuff, right? And he been doing some blogs on the YouTubes and things like that. So y'all can check him out and look him up. Because like I said, we kind of already know what happens with this divorce with her. And then we get the trailer for the reunion. Okay, so I know everybody's excited about that, because I think the reunion is actually going to be the best part of this whole season as well. The last episode was the best episode, and the reunion is going to be good, even though we got to minus Kenya and a minus Brittany, because those are two of the main stories that we kind of need in closure to, and they don't want to give it to us, and it's all right, whatever. At least if we know that Brittany wasn't going to be there, we could have called Kenya and said, bitch, get your ass dressed. Okay? Like, you know what I'm saying? It's just, oh, girl, I already got my dress in the closet. Child. Either way, it looked like the lady's going to give us enough of what we need from what beef that they got going on. And the fashions, y'all already seen it. I think Portia was the best dressed. I think her and Phaedra actually went to the same designer, but Phaedra said, well, I want to be more naked or something. So he said, well, what about this chain? And she said, okay. And that's how they did that. Kelly, it looked like crumpled up papers. Yeah, I don't know. Talk to y'all later when we get to the first reunion. Thanks for watching. This was a decent season 16. Sweet one, huh? Bye.